Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and start building your wealth.
Sure thing. So good to see you, Lisa, as always. Thanks for joining. Like I said, Lisa put me in touch with Gary. Gary and I have now been working together for a couple of months here, and I was able to join you guys back in September. If you were not on the September class, I'll give you a little background. My name is Kyle Raineri. I am the standing CEO and founder of a company called realestatecontent.ai. I'm an expert in everything AI and social media. I'm on the speaker series as well. I speak at big conferences all across the US and Canada. I also do a healthy amount of webinars. Every time that I get asked to speak, it's always on my area of expertise, which again is everything AI, specifically in the marketing space. Now, I'm an expert on everything social media. Before this, I owned and scaled a marketing agency that specifically specialized in social media for some pretty large brands. So social media is particularly my area of expertise. And in my career, just being around all these big brands and scaling all these agencies and understanding what works and what doesn't work on social media, I've come to understand a couple of things that I think are missed a lot of the times in the real estate world, whether you are an investor or an agent or whatever your space in the real estate world may be. So I'm here to do a couple of things. Number one, it's to cover some myths about social media. First and foremost, the fact that you do not need to be an influencer. Nobody in here needs to enjoy social media for it to be an asset for your business. I'm not going to make anybody in here sing and dance on TikTok or lip sync or do any crazy dances. You don't have to do any of that. What I am going to show you is how social media is an essential component of people's decision-making process and what you should post, how often you should post it, and to what platforms you should post to in order to capture the most market share, and most importantly, how to convert that market share. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is how do we take social media from being something that possibly you neglect or you even disdain to being a monetary asset for your business without you having to sing and dance on TikTok all day. Now, in order to do that, we are going to employ some cool tricks using AI. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do that today. I'm going to talk about, first and foremost, how you can do it yourself if you don't want to use any AI, how you can do it with generally accessible tools, things like ChatGPT, and then I'll also show you guys how you can do it using stuff that we've developed specifically for this task. So no matter where you're at, you'll get something, I promise. Just follow along today. And Gary, I know you guys will be watching the chat, so let me know if we get any questions, and I'll make sure I take the time to get everybody's questions answered so we can learn as much as possible. All right, let's get started. So I need y'all's help to get us started here today because we all have very particular skill sets and experiences. So I need to first start by asking everybody in here a question. The answer to this question is going to help me understand how best to teach this class. Now, for those of you that haven't experience, just like Lisa and a couple others that might have seen this before, I'll always tell you something new every time I do this, but feel free to jump in and ask questions that you might have that are a little bit more advanced, and I'll make sure I get those answered so it's worth your time as well. So don't worry if you saw this before. So if everybody could get started just by clicking on the chat button, and I want you to answer this question for me. And this question is just, I always want you to type in the chat either a 0 or a 10, from 1 to 10 on that scale, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Tell me how good you are at social media right now. Right? So a 0 would be you're not on social media. 10, there is nothing more that you could do to improve. It is absolutely maxed out, would be a 10 out of 10. So let me know where you're at on that scale. That gives me a good idea of how I'm going to teach this class, right? Because if everybody in here is an expert, changes the course load, doesn't it? All right. Lisa's getting us started at a 7. Lisa's very humble because I know she's not a 7. I know she's a lot better than that. So we got some 4s, 6, 5s, 7s, 3s. We usually see probably about an average about 4 to 5 here. So don't worry if you're on the lower end of the spectrum. That's pretty much where everybody's at. Those of you that are doing really well on social media, Stephanie's good job at a 7. Gary Wilson, I know you're good. I know you're up there. Those of you guys that are a little bit up there, Val as well, I'm counting on you guys to ask good questions today. Good stuff. Okay, so appreciate everybody that responded to this. This gives me a good idea where everyone's at today. I'd say our average is probably around a 5 or a 6 or so. I would say. Gary, you're always the math guy. I always got to ask you.
Yeah, yeah. The average is probably below probably like between 4 and 5. So that's
I was halfway expecting you to give me like a very long decimal, you know.
yeah.
Good stuff. And good to see PF in here as well. I've seen PF a couple of times. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. I want to ask you guys one more question. Again, this is the same structure, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. This time, tell me how good you are at AI. Okay. Now, if you were a 10 out of 10, AI is doing everything for you, right? It's cleaning your house, it's walking your dog, it's driving your car. If you're a 0 out of 10, you haven't used AI yet, maybe you're tired of everybody talking about it. Everywhere in between. So we got some 3s so far. We're a little bit lower so far on AI as opposed to social media. Lisa's up there at a 6, so is Rick. Tell you what, if you guys are better at AI, so those of you guys that use it regularly, let me know what AI platforms you're currently using. Are you using ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Perplexity? What's everybody on today? Good stuff. Kendra and Rick are on ChatGPT. I love it. Gary using Gemini now. I love Gemini. Gemini's taken over. Good stuff. ChatGPT as well. Good to see that, Lisa. I like to call ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like Kleenexes to tissues, right? It's like the name brand. It's the name brand of AI. It's what everybody thinks of. Bill's on Grok. Love to see that as well. Good stuff. One for you guys to check out is Perplexity. Perplexity is great for its deep research abilities. Check out Perplexity. Write that down. Check it out. Put that on your list of things to check out after this webinar today. It's the same structure as ChatGPT or Gemini, but it has some really cool capabilities that are a little bit more advanced than ChatGPT at some time. So Perplexity Deep Research is a great thing that you guys could check out. Okay. Thank you guys for letting me know where you're at with AI and social media. I want to preface this with saying you guys don't have to be any form of expert to get something out of this class today. You don't have to know how to use ChatGPT, and you particularly do not have to like social media. Now, I want to start just with social media in general, particularly why are we going to talk about it? Now, social media for a lot of us is our least favorite part of the business. And if it's your least favorite part of the business, you're in a really good place today. This is going to be a really good Monday Night Live for you. Social media is a necessary evil when it comes to doing business in today's age. And I talk to agents all across the US and Canada about why they are or are not doing social media to the best of their abilities. And I get a wide variety of answers. One of them that I see commonly is that you don't feel that your clients in particular respond well to social media. Maybe you've been in the business for a while and you don't see why your business would need to change and adapt to social media since you've been doing this for so long with so much success. And I totally understand that. And what I want to show you, and the reason why I pulled this graph right here, is just so I can demonstrate how important social media is to your client base, no matter which area you service. Again, whether you are a real estate agent, investor, team owner, broker, influencer, whatever you are. Now, this graph right here, this blue graph, details the social media usage by age range. Now, this was a study conducted in May of 2025 in the United States. And so this data is fairly current. And the thing that I find most impactful about this data is actually the difference between baby boomers and Gen Z. Now, these data points detail everybody that said they use more than one social media account every day. Now, that's really important because I hear people all the time say, oh, do I need to focus on Facebook because I work with this kind of audience? Do I need to be exclusively on LinkedIn because maybe I'm an investor and I feel like that's a better place for me to be? Do I need to be on TikTok because I work with first-time home buyers? Guys, everybody uses everything. There is an even distribution, right? What you need to think about is how you can have omnipresence, right? How do we maintain a presence across as many social media channels as possible? Because everybody has their own particular preferences, but when we look at the entire plot, it's an even distribution. There's no favoritism per age range that stands out enough. Now, one of the biggest things I see on this graph right here is the millennial demographic. Now, again, if I were to ask you guys, what do you think the biggest differences are in these age ranges? You might say, well, I would say it's probably the biggest differences between Gen Z and baby boomers, right? We know that baby boomers and Gen Xers and everybody else is on social media, but Gen Z, shoot, I mean, my neighbor has a second grader. She started second grade this year. She has an iPhone that's newer than mine, right? You would imagine that the younger demographics are overwhelmingly on social media the most, and then it maybe trails off after that. There's actually less than a 30% difference between baby boomers that say they use social media every day and Gen Z. Less than a 30% difference. But the highest demographic per age range of social media usage is actually our millennials, our 27 to 42-year-olds. Now, if anybody in here works with first-time buyers or move-up buyers and sellers, that is right in your sweet spot. Your 27 to 42-year-olds, that millennial demographic, 68.5 million in the US alone, say they use social media more than one account every day. Now, that's pretty basic. What do we take away from this? What we take away is that everyone is on social media. We know that there is no such thing as a business that is immune to social media's touch, right? It's everywhere. Everyone is using social media and our clients are on it. So how do we take advantage of that? Now, started pretty basic. This is pretty basic. I think everybody knew this, but we're going to get a little bit more advanced. Now, this right here is how people think social media works. Okay, this might be how you think social media works, and that's totally okay. Talk to people all the time. Hey, what do you think you need to do to say that you're a 10 out of 10 on social media? Well, you say, hey, I need to figure out how to go viral, right? I need to get all the views and all the likes, and I need to figure out what that viral content formula is. Do I need to pay money for a team of videographers and photographers and create high quality content? Do I need to invest in a camera setup and talk and do content myself? And once you figure out what that secret formula is, it's going to translate to more views, more likes, more followers, and then everybody's going to start messaging you and you're going to make a bunch of money. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That is not how success on social media is at all. In fact, it's a little bit more complicated than that. This is actually what social media success looks like. Now, this graph right here, and Gary and I covered this in September, but the reason I'm talking about it again is because it's the single most important thing that I'm going to show you all day long. And I'll probably talk about this every other time that Gary decides to bring me on, because if you can understand this, if you can live, learn, and love this graph, you will find success on social media and you will have a whole entire different sales vertical of your business. This right here is a decision-making matrix. It's buyer-seller psychology. And what you need to understand with this graph is how people use social media as a component of their decision-making process. Now, I say component very, very intentionally because it's one of many things that people do to decide whether or not they are going to do business with you, but it is extremely important. It plays a crucial role in that make or break factor as to whether somebody decides to hire you and retain your services. So to show how this works and to show you how much it might actually be impacting your business by you not doing it to the best of your abilities, we're going to walk through this graph really quickly. Now, this graph right here, it all starts with exposure, right? Exposure is the primary means where somebody goes from being a stranger to a commission check, right? How do they go from first being a stranger to then being a potential client? Well, they have to figure out who you are. That's exposure, right? Exposure for this purposes of this demonstration, our definition is anytime somebody sees our face, image, name, or likeness. So this could be a billboard, it could be a bus stop, it could be a paid ad, whether that's on Facebook or in a magazine or a newsletter or an email. It could be a mailer, it could be a business card you leave at a coffee shop. It's anytime somebody hears about us or sees us in the sense of our business. The most valuable form of exposure, in fact, is actually referrals, right? Referrals is the highest converting method of exposure. Think about this. Somebody comes up to me and they say, Kyle, you need to call Rob. Rob, I'm picking on you because you're right here on my screen. You got to call Rob. Rob, I'm not sure if you're a real estate agent, but if you are, I'm going to use that as an example, right? So let's say Rob's a real estate agent. Let's say he's in my area. And Rob's a great real estate agent. And in fact, he's one of his previous clients is a neighbor in my neighborhood. Well, that previous client, he's been hearing from Rob that that referrals are a really important part of his business. And that previous client of Rob sees that I'm looking for an agent right now. Maybe I'm trying to sell my house on my own. And that previous client comes up to me. He's a good friend of mine. He says, Kyle, what are you doing? You got to call Rob right now. Rob's a great agent. In fact, I've got his phone number right here. It's going to make your life so much easier. Here you go. Now we're going to put our expert marketing hat on today so that we can understand what is the highest probability of what is going to happen next. Okay, now am I going to say, hey, great, thank you so much, neighbor. Let me go ahead and call Rob right now in the middle of the workday. Hey, Rob, how are you? I don't know you and you don't know me, but you need to tell me about yourself because I heard you're a really good real estate agent. That's a pretty bold ask, right? Same thing, any kind of business that we have. It's too much of us to assume that with one point of exposure that our clients will then take action, right? In marketing, we know that the average person needs 7 touch points before they will make a decision. 7 touch points, right? So if my first touch point is exposure, what am I then going to do? Instead of saying, hey, great, go ahead, I'm going to call Rob right now, and I'm going to take action, maybe I'm going to research him because I want to find out if he is everything that I just heard that he was. So I'm going to go to Google. Okay, this is phase 2 of the decision-making matrix. I'm going to research you because I need to find out if you're everything that I heard that you really were. So let's say I'm on that front page of Google. Again, we've got our expert marketing hat on, so we need to work in terms of probability. What are we most likely to see on this front page of Google? Let's make some assumptions. Well, let's say Rob, for the purpose of this demonstration, is a real estate agent in my area, and I'm going to look him up. And let's say on that front page of Google, I see his agent website, where his listings are, his phone number, his contact, all that good stuff. Maybe this is his own website. Maybe it's a broker-provided website. That's going to show up on the front page of Google. Well, what else am I going to see on that front page of Google? Maybe I'll see a public MLS, like Realtor.com, right? Realtor.com has great SEO because it's a huge website. So I've got his Realtor.com profile up there as well. What else am I most commonly going to see on that front page of Google? His social media profiles. Whether Rob has 5 followers or 50,000 followers, it doesn't matter. His social media profiles are most likely going to show up on that front page of Google, and that's not by accident. The company that owns Facebook and Instagram, Meta, is headquartered right down the street from Google. Half of the engineers that have been working on your Instagram and Facebook app have at one point in their career also worked for Google. You don't think they know how to work the algorithm. It doesn't matter how popular you are. It doesn't matter if you're an influencer, if you care about your accounts or not, your social media pages always show up highly on Google. And now I have a decision to make. I have never met Rob before. I just got a glowing referral. I am this close to being his next commission check, and now I need to figure out what I'm going to click on. Well, I just met him for the first time. I just heard his name for the first time. So it's safe to say I've never been on his website before. I'm not in real estate. I'm not in the business of real estate. So I can count on one hand the amount of times that I have visited a public MLS like Realtor.com. It's not something that I'm on every day. However, maybe I'm part of that 51 million Gen Xers that say they use more than one social media account every day, or the 68 million millennials, or the 56 million Gen Zs. It doesn't matter. We know that the most common option for us to click on is the option that I am most comfortable with, which we can typically say is your social media accounts. So now I'm on Rob's Facebook page, and the thing that is standing between me and Rob knowing that I exist and that I am literally this close to his next hot lead, his next commission check, is something as stupid as how he appears on social media. That is why social media, I say this all the time, social media, dollar for dollar, minute for minute that you invest is the single most important thing that you can do for your business. It will make you more money than anything else you invest your time in because it is a bottleneck for everything else that you do. Every dollar you invest in exposure, whether it's an advertisement, whether it's the time you invest nurturing your sphere and building those relationships, trying to get people to refer you to their friends, we know that the way people make decisions, it is not enough for them to take action at their first point of contact. They must first affirm everything they have said. And the most common way for them to affirm that is with your social media pages. If you are not doing the right thing on your social media pages, if you are not making the best first impression possible, you are literally losing business you never even knew you had. And to give you an idea of how much this might be affecting your business today, if you remember your answer to this question, now, if you're just joining or if you joined before we answered this question, think about if you were going to give yourself a score on your social media pages, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Think about what your score was. Now, me and Gary said the average was about a 5. I went to school in Missouri, not exactly a prestigious educational institution. I got a lot of 5 out of 10s. Last time I checked, that's still an F. A 5 out of 10 is still an F. And if I have a 5 out of 10 on my social media pages, your social media first impression, your first impression to somebody that is going to trust you with the biggest decision of their life, the purchase or sale of their home, is an F. Is that going to encourage someone to then contact you, to text you, to call you, to look at your listings or submit their email? When you look at how your social media pages should be structured, it needs to instill confidence, and it needs to do everything in its power to make sure that whoever lands there knows that you are responsive, that you are credible, and that you are professional. You'll notice in that explanation, I didn't say one thing, one very key thing that I left out, and that's popular. Popular, right? Why did I not say that when somebody lands on your social media profile that they need to see that you are popular? When we think about social media, how many of you guys, if I asked you that question earlier, how good are you at social media? Did you think, how many followers do I have? How many likes do I get? How many views do I get? And that was a component of you deciding if you're good at social media or not. Well, think about it again this way. Hey, I'm going to use a different example. Rick. Let's say Rick is my example, right? I'm on Rick's social media pages. And you know what? Rick is posting frequently. He's posting 3, 4, 5 times a week. He's posting content that answers my questions. He's credible. He's clearly very knowledgeable. He represents himself professionally. But Rick, you only have 200 followers on your Facebook page. You must not be very good at your job. Rick, hey, you're posting really good content that actually answered some questions that I've had. And it looks like you're very experienced in your business and you represent yourself very well, but you only got 50 views on that video. You must not be very good. Sounds ridiculous when we think about it that way, doesn't it? When we index the importance of what people look at for your social media to decide if they're going to make a decision, how popular you are is at the bottom of that decision-making matrix. But when we think about it, it's at the top. So I need you guys to flip that method of thinking. Instead of thinking, hey, am I good at social media on the basis of how many followers, likes, and views do I get? You need to think about how much information am I providing? Do I represent myself in a way that is valuable to people that might be looking at this page? Am I posting often enough to ensure people that, hey, I am still active in my business? If you haven't posted in 2 months, I don't know if you're bagging fries at McDonald's or not. Compare that to somebody who's posting 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. And when you post, it needs to look professional. You wouldn't show up to a listing presentation in your pajamas. So when you post on social media, it needs to have an air of professionalism, both in design and makeup, that instills the professionalism that you will represent your client with one day. And if you can do that, that's all you need to do to represent yourself well enough to get them from that validation point to the point of contact. And once they're in the contact point, once you have their information, their phone number, their email, whatever, now they're in your funnel. Now you can build trust, build a relationship, put them in your CRM, and once you foster that relationship, you can close. But you will never get to that point if you neglect to do those 3 things with your social media profiles. All right. That's our little bit on education for social media. Now that we're all on the same page of not only how important is it, but what we need to do, let's talk about how AI can make this a little bit easier for you. Now, I get a lot of questions about how we need to do social media and what we need to post, when we need to post it, and how we do it. So I'm going to make things really simple. We need to be posting at a rate that is frequent enough to appear responsible, right? So that's 3 to 7 times per week. I want you to post 3 to 7 times per week on each of your social media profiles. Now you notice I said each, right? So if you have a Facebook and an Instagram and a LinkedIn, you need to be posting 3 to 7 times on each of those. You cannot use the auto post button. So if you are posting to your Instagram and everything you post to your Instagram also goes to your Facebook, you cannot do that. That's a cardinal mistake. They have completely different algorithms and completely different rules. So if we want to maximize social media's effectiveness, we need to be posting individual content for each profile we have. Well, on top of that, we need to be creating content that bolsters our credibility. Easier said than done. Think about this. If I am sitting at lunch with you and I ask you a question about the market, or ask you a question about my home, or a home I'm looking to invest in, or a home that I'm looking to sell, could you answer that? I venture to say everybody in here would say yes, right? You're all experts in your field. Take that wealth of information that you have and promote it for free on your social media pages. And I want you to do that, and that's what I want your content to look like. I'll show you an example. Here's an example of bad social media versus good social media. This is bad social media right here. You might know somebody else that's doing this. Happy National Coffee Cup Day. If you are posting Happy National Coffee Cup Day or an inspirational quote or a random holiday announcement, does that show that you are responsive, credible, and professional? Or does it tell everybody that somebody told you you need to post on social media and you're doing it for the sake of doing it and you actually just have no idea what you're doing? Anything is good enough. Just need to post, right? Compare that to somebody who's posting for the purpose of credibility. Waiting for home prices to drop. Here's why that might cost you more in 2025. This is an infographic. It has consistent colors, themes, and fonts. She's not out on camera. She doesn't have to be on camera. It's just conveying information. This style of content is going to bolster your credibility, and all you have to do is use the knowledge you already have to do it. And then the last thing is that professionalism, right? I made the example, you wouldn't show up to a listing presentation in your pajamas. Look at this post.
Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that, you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay. The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay. One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay. One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
Distinct colors, branding, themes, professional headshot. It looks like you are a professional, legitimate business. So keep that air of professionalism and keep it consistent. And that's what's going to buy you the most bang for your buck on your social media profiles. How do we use AI to do it? And what do we need to do? Well, when I look at AI as my solution to many different things, all the different things that AI has the capacity to do, right? I look at a couple of rules that I have. Now, these are actually my rules right here for using AI to do social media. Now, you guys can use whatever you want. You can use ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Perplexity. You can use realestatecontent.ai, which is what we'll show you today. You can do it on your own. I'm going to show you how to do all 3. Okay. Everything that I do here today is something that you can manually do yourself. You can try to do different prompts with your own AI, or you can do it the way I do it. It's applicable to everyone. But whatever you decide to do, the most important rule is actually at the bottom of my screen. Just because something saves you time does not mean you should be willing to sacrifice quality. We all know what a 10 out of 10 on social media looks like now. You know what it needs to look like, you know what it needs to say, and you know how often you need to do it. You should not sacrifice that level of quality just because you can do something quickly. With AI, we see that a lot. If you don't know how to prompt AI correctly, you end up with generalized crap. And that's going to only diminish your return on social media. So you need to have an eye for quality when you're doing something like this. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to jump into AI. And I'm going to build out a month of social media content. I'm going to build out my whole month of November. As I'm doing this, I will use two other examples. You'll see me do it with realestatecontent.ai. I'll show you how you might be able to do it with something like ChatGPT, and I'll also give you the long way around if you want to try to do it yourself. So take notes, ask questions. I'm going to try to cover all the bases today. So let's jump in. This right here, if you haven't seen it before, this is realestatecontent.ai. Now, Lisa is using realestatecontent.ai. I saw Jay in here as well. A couple other people are using realestatecontent.ai. And if you are, let me know in the chat. I just might have missed you in the participants log right there. But if you are using realestatecontent.ai, I'll try to show you something that you could use that you might not have seen before. If you haven't seen realestatecontent.ai before, I'm going to explain really quickly what this is and what it's going to do. This right here is an AI-powered social media calendar. When you log into ChatGPT, you see a blank screen with a search bar. Here, that search bar is right up at the top. And if I were to type something into ChatGPT like, hey, give me ideas for what to post on social media this week, or actually, hey, ChatGPT, build me a social media post, what is it going to do? Well, it's going to give you a to-do list. It's going to say, hey, here's what it should talk about. Here's what you need to do. Either take a picture, record a video, maybe it'll give you a script, and then it will tell you how to post it, right? So that's good. That's a really, really good starting point. If you were doing this on your own, you do a couple more steps to get to that to-do list, and then you still have to actually do it yourself. Here, I can type in a topic like, here's my tips for first-time investors right here. And when I hit generate, instead of giving me a to-do list, I'll click on the dates that I want content to be about that topic. We'll choose Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, TikTok, whichever profiles we have, and click go. Now it's actually going to build me the entire social media post, the entire picture, the entire caption, everything, and it will automatically post it to my social medias corresponding to the date that it's on the calendar right here. Now you guys see my November 2025 is already entirely filled out. I have all these little boxes in here. I have a pink box. If I click on that pink box, here's my post for Instagram. I have a blue box. If I click on that blue box, here's my post for Facebook. Same with teal. If I click on the teal box, here's my post for LinkedIn, right? Now this will do Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It'll also do X, and it will do TikTok as well. It'll do a mixture of pictures. It'll do a mixture of videos, and it will even do data and listings as well. Now that's all well and good. What do we need to do to set up this strategy? Now, I mentioned we're going to start with our other two options, right? Doing it yourself or using other AI sources. Now, doesn't matter what method we're using, it all starts with the same step. So no matter what you're going to use for your social media this month, this is step number one. Step number one, you need to identify who your ideal client profile, also known as a client avatar, right? You cannot come up with a topic, record a video, or take a picture until you know who you're talking to. I have a big whiteboard in my office, and on that whiteboard, I have written all the different kinds of clients that I have, things that they might be interested in, their wants and needs and desires, so that I can understand on a personal basis what my clients want to see and what questions they might have. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to answer all their questions with my content. That builds credibility. So if you're going to do that on your own, get your own whiteboard out, write all your clients down, spend a lot of time doing that. If you're going to do this with ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, especially if you have a chat that already understands who you are. Ask ChatGPT, hey, can you identify my top 3 ideal clients? And see what it gives you back and see if it's accurate or not. If you're going to do that with realestatecontent.ai, just type in who your clients are right here. Now, with realestatecontent.ai, before it creates any of my posts, it needs to understand who I'm talking to. So I told it that I'm working with first-time home buyers, upsizers, downsizers, and investors. AI is already coded in the background. Realestatecontent.ai is, so it already knows their wants and needs and desires. So I don't have to go any further than that. Next thing you need to do, you need to create hyper-local content, right? We've heard that word before, hyper-local. You need to make sure that all of your content is specific and unique to the area that you service. If you're doing this on your own, you need to be able to create content, both pictures and videos, that not only represents your area, but also what you're talking about needs to be current topics, relevant to the market, and pain points your clients might be facing in that area. ChatGPT can help you with this. Ask ChatGPT, hey, of my ideal clients, can you help me identify hyper-local topics that they might be interested in? That would be a good topic to use for something like ChatGPT. If you're using realestatecontent.ai, I'm just going to type in my areas. So here I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm focusing on these areas right now. I'm farming Uptown, Plano, Deep, Elm, and McKinney, and it's going to do all the work for me in the background. Now that AI knows who I'm talking to and where I live, we can get to work. So far, we've identified who our clients are, their wants, pain points, needs, and desires. We know that we need to post hyper-local content. We might have asked ChatGPT for help. Now we have to get into action items. How do we actually start to create our social media posts? Well, step number 2, we got to come up with an idea. We got to come up with a topic. What are we going to talk about? Now, this is where a lot of people falter. This is where I see a lot of people default to inspirational quotes or holiday announcements or whatever kind of generalized garbage they post this week. You need to be very intentful with how you come up with topics. Think about what people are searching for, what your ideal client wants to hear, particularly what might be popular on social media at that point in time for those kinds of people. Now, if you're doing this on your own, you're gonna need to do some research. Go to things like Reddit, look on Instagram, look on Facebook, TikTok, follow the trending topics, and I would record those down right in your whiteboard as those change. For ChatGPT, you can continue the same script. Say, hey, ChatGPT, you now know who my ideal client is. Can you research social media and maybe tell me some trending topics they might be interested in? Here, I'm gonna click one button and AI is gonna do that research for me. So for realestatecontent.ai, it's giving me a list of topics that I can talk about because it has already researched social media for me. It knows who my clients are, and now it's saying, hey, Kyle, this is what you should talk about. So I'm gonna choose one of these topics right here. This one's for my first-time home buyers. Let me click into December right here where I have some room. I'm gonna hit generate, and now we're gonna create a campaign because I wanna talk about this topic for multiple days. Saves me the effort of coming up with 30 ideas for 30 days of the month. So let's say I'm gonna post this on all of my Mondays here in December. So I'll click on all the Mondays. Now I'm gonna choose between carousels, single images, or reels. Reels are videos. We're gonna do carousels for this example. Carousels just means there's multiple pictures inside of one post. Next, let's say I have an Instagram account, so I'll click Instagram. I have a Facebook, and you know what? Let's add LinkedIn in here as well. Even though you might not be active on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a great opportunity. I'll click LinkedIn. I'm gonna click generate content. Now AI is doing the work for me. What's happening in the background is AI is finding images in its database, and those images are going to become my social media posts. And once it has the background image, AI is going to come up with text. That text will be edited on top of the image. And in between the text and the images is going to include my headshots, logos, and colors. Let's flip the script back to if you were going to do this on your own. If you're going to do this on your own, you're going to either take those pictures yourself or find some pictures on the internet for free use. Then you're going to need to bring those into Canva. You're going to need to come up with those topics, those hooks, that information. I need you to edit all that information on each of those pictures, and then you're going to schedule it out to post later. If you're going to do this with ChatGPT, ChatGPT can help you with a couple of these things. Ask ChatGPT, hey, I want to post a carousel style image with 7 slides. Can you break up this topic into a 7-image set? And it's going to give you what to type for each of those images. ChatGPT kind of loses its capabilities after this point because ChatGPT itself cannot edit that text on top of an image and make it look any good. You're going to spend more time than what it's worth trying to get it to look decent. So what I recommend you do if you're using ChatGPT, take the text that it has given you and then go back into Canva, find your images, and start editing. Realestatecontent.ai, I already have everything right here. Here it's created my carousel for me. This is 7 images in a slideshow, back to back to back to back. These work super, super well on social media right now. That was my Instagram. Down here, let's check out a Facebook post. There we go. Maybe I'll click on another box. Here's my LinkedIn post. Okay. So it's just edited all those images for me. Each of these posts have 7 images. I have 12 individual posts, 7 times 12. That's 84 individual images that AI just edited and created for me. If you're doing this on your own, if you're really good at Canva, take the time, make sure they're really good before you post it. All right, we've got our Mondays in here. I'm going to continue to build out this strategy, but we're going to wash, rinse, and repeat a lot of the things that we've learned so far. So for my Wednesdays, I'm going to go back up here, research another topic. Let me choose this one about my upsizers. I'll hit generate, and I'll load this in for my Wednesdays. Now, what I'm going to do differently is this time I'm going to do videos. I'm going to talk about some things that you guys can do with videos here in a second. I'll click go, and now AI is going to make me all my videos. Now, you guys might be wondering what works better on social media, pictures or videos. In fact, if you were on a game show right now, you had $1 million on the line, what would you vote? What do you think works better on social media, pictures or videos? I'm going to show you the answer here. So keep your videos, right? There we go. Okay. Keep your answer in your head, right? We're going to say videos. Everybody's going to say videos. Let's look at the data. Currently, carousel style posts are beating videos. Mic drop moment, right? You would have lost your $1 million. Videos are not the king of social media that they used to be. Now, you'll notice keen-eyed viewers, it's a very small difference, negligible even, 0.04%. Now, what should this tell you, social media experts? It means that you need to be posting a healthy mixture of both carousel style posts, which are the ones that I just showed you with multiple images, and videos. In fact, I have a golden ratio for this. That golden ratio is 1/3. I'll actually put this in the chat for you guys. 1/3 videos to pictures. Okay. So if I'm posting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one of those days will be videos. The other 2 will be some kind of picture content, whether it's a single image or a carousel. And that's going to give you an optimal distribution of content. Why is this true? I've been hearing that videos are the best thing on social media for years. Why did this happen? Turn the tide back to 2020, 2021. COVID hits, everybody's on their phone. What gets really popular? TikTok. TikTok has this new style of video content, this short form content that capitalizes on people's low attention spans, and they take market share away from all the other social media profiles. So how does Instagram and Facebook and everybody respond? Well, Instagram came out with Reels. Facebook introduced short form videos. YouTube came out with shorts. Everybody copied TikTok to try to recapture that market share. That was almost 5 years ago. Everything is kind of evened out, right? Even distribution. So that style of content is not being pushed as hard anymore. It's an even distribution. Have a good mixture of both. Let's jump back into our calendar. So now here on all my Wednesdays, I'm still posting Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But if I click on one of these boxes, now it's a video. Feeling lost on where to move in Dallas. Read caption. Now take a look at this video right here. And I want you to pay attention to what's going on in the background. Play it one more time. It's a very short video. It's only 4 seconds long. What's going on in the background is approximately nothing at all. Pretty much nothing at all is happening. Why is that? This is a style of content known as aesthetic B-roll, and it is your saving grace if you are the kind of person that doesn't like to be on video. This style of content encourages views because it focuses not on the video itself, but on the text. So take a look at the text. Feeling lost on where to move in Dallas. Well, you know what? If I'm in that situation, I'm looking at your social media profile because I went through one of your methods of exposure. I've researched you, and now I'm looking at that profile. And you know what? I am feeling lost in where I'm going to move to Dallas. Oh my gosh, how did you know? It's like you're reading my mind. Well, what am I going to do next? Right here, it says read caption. I'll blow this video up so you guys can see it a little bit better. Right here, it says read caption. Here's the trick. So I'm going to go read this caption. Where's the caption at in Instagram? It's right below the video. So I'm going to read this whole caption right here. This caption's very long. Social media loves long captions, guys. It's how social media understands what your post is about and who it is for. Well, let's say it takes me 40 seconds to read this big, long blog post that you have right here, and this video is only 4 seconds long. What happens to that 4-second long video if I spend 40 seconds reading the caption? It loops. It plays, and it plays, and it plays. That video will continue to play even though you're reading the caption. So that video just played 10 times before I'm done reading this caption. That takes one person and makes them 10 views. That tells social media that you have a very engaging video, so it's going to be shown to more people. That's more exposure, more opportunities you have to start a conversation. And every conversation has the chance to lead to a conversion. Have you ever gone under contract without having a conversation? Social media's superpower is its ability to create those meaningful conversations. Posting content like this, not only do you not have to be on video, you don't have to be an influencer, you don't have to invest in expensive equipment, but you still educate your audience, you still create those conversation activities, and you get more views without even trying. In fact, AI right here just made 12 of those videos for me, and they're all loaded in my calendar. Very cool. We got 1 day left here, and that's our Friday. So I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. We've got our pictures here for our Mondays. We got our videos for our Wednesdays. We're going to follow our 1/3 ratio. We're going to do some kind of picture again for our Fridays. But we have a couple of different options. If I click this button right here in realestatecontent.ai, it can pull a market report for me. So I can type in any location, and it will pull up all the locations it has in its database. I can choose one of those locations. It's going to give me back an infographic with market data in my area. I could do a listing post. Maybe I want to do a just listed, just sold, open house, maybe something with investment properties that I have. I'll click this button right here. I'll upload a link to that listing. AI will make a graphic for me promoting it. Or maybe I want to post some trending news articles in my area, right? This is going to pull all my local news, local real estate news, and I can click on any of these bubbles right here, and AI is going to create a social media post based on those current events. I'm not going to do either of those, but I have the ability to if I want to. Instead, I'm going to go up here to my search bar, and I'm going to type something in of my own. Now, this is my December strategy right here, so we want to do something for that. Maybe we'll do fun things to do in Dallas, Texas this December. What I'm going to do differently here, and this is important for all my realestatecontent.ai subscribers. This is something that we cover in our advanced training. So if you don't already know how to do this, pay close attention. I'm going to click this extra button right here, which is this arrow next to generate, and it's going to allow us to generate with web search right here. And you'll know that you have that activated when it says with web search right here in the search bar. Now, what this is going to allow AI to do is when I follow those same steps and click on all my Fridays for my December, let me make sure that this is in December right here. It's going to take an extra step and it's going to search the internet. Now, that's important because you guys might notice if you're using ChatGPT or Grok, Gemini, Perplexity, that some of the information it comes up with is fairly out of date, right? This way, all of the information that AI is going to have available to it is going to be up to date and current because it's making an active active search to the internet the time that you click that button. So everything that it creates, it's going to be talking about all the activities you can do in Dallas, Texas this December. I could type in top 5 restaurants if I wanted to, or I could do best concerts coming to Petersonville, North Dakota, whatever I want to do. AI will search the internet and it'll create a post for me, whatever topic you can come up with. Now you might notice as those are loading in, Kendra says this is cool. I love it. I love all the new ideas coming in too. As this is loading in, I have an extra box, okay? So over here, I have a pink box, a blue box, and a teal box. We know that's Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Each of those posts are different for each of your profiles. But here I have this yellow box. I clicked an extra button. This yellow box is blogs. These are blogs. All of these yellow boxes are SEO optimized articles that we can use for a ton of cool stuff. Not even related to social media, it's just an added bonus. So right here, this says fun things to do in Dallas, Texas this December, a holiday guide. Major seasonal attractions. We got the holiday at the Arboretum is coming. When is it? It's open until January 4th in the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden. That image is made by AI, believe it or not. Everybody has the correct amount of fingers and toes and arms. The AI images have come a long way. What else we got? We got the Dallas Zoo lights. They're having a Christmas exhibit at the Dallas Zoo. The Galleria is having a Santa Land and Snow Day. There's all the other cool stuff you can do. Here's what's going on in Grapevine. Here's what's going on in McKinney, Plano. Now, what can you do with this? What's the point of this? Well, number one, I can click this button right here, and I can put this blog into my website. Why is it important to have blogs on your website? Is because this is how Google figures out how to rank your website. More importantly, everybody's really excited about how to get ChatGPT to reference you, right? How do I type in to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT a question? Hey, who's the best real estate agent in Dallas, Texas? How do I get ChatGPT to say it's me every time? ChatGPT indexes the internet, so the more content I have on the internet, the more information ChatGPT has to work with. Blogs play a great role in ChatGPT figuring out if you're the answer to someone's question or not. So if you can post 3, 4, 5 of these blogs to your website a month, that's just going to increase the chances you have of somebody searching ChatGPT and recommending you as the answer. Another cool way you can use these. If you have an email list, right? If you have like a newsletter, and I encourage everybody in here to do this because it's a really, really easy way to stay top of mind. Let's say I'm using, I use Follow Up Boss. Now I have a big email list in Follow Up Boss, and I want to send out a bi-weekly newsletter. Well, I'm going to use my blog right here. I'm going to hit regenerate this caption. We're going to ask AI to rewrite this blog as an email newsletter. Now watch what happens. I'll hit regenerate. AI is going to take this blog that was optimized for Google and ChatGPT, and it's going to reformat it to be optimized to be sent as an email. Here we go. Here's my subject line. Your December fun guide in Dallas, Texas. Here we go. Here's all my information in a condensed format. Signs off right here with your name. Take this, throw this into your CRM. Now you have a newsletter. Good stuff. Appreciate it, Sam. This is a great way. Now, not only are you staying top of mind with your clients on social media, but you're also staying top of mind in their inbox. And I love this because earlier on, I dropped a nugget of information that we kind of glazed over. It takes 7 touch points on average for somebody to make a decision. So think about this. Somebody hears about you for exposure, right? They research you and they go to your social media and they're like, oh, you know, Rick looks pretty good. Maybe I'm not into it right now, but you know what? I went out, I reached out to Rick. Maybe Rick put me in his CRM. Maybe I followed him on Instagram or Facebook, but I wasn't immediately ready to click go right now, right? Maybe it just wasn't my time. But I've been following you for a while. Maybe I've been subscribed to your email list. I'm getting an email from you twice a month. That's 2 touch points. I'm posting 3 times a week. That's 3 touch points. We're already at 5 touch points in 1 week. By the time I get to the end of this month, even if this person isn't super active on social media, they don't see every single one of our posts, they will have seen us well more than 7 times. And all of those little touch points help somebody reinforce the notion that you are responsive, that you are credible, and that you are professional. And you can do all of this without being an influencer. That's our biggest rule. Gary, I'll tag you now. What do we think about this month?
So I mean, the month of November so far?
Or the month of December, just everything we've talked about today. The strategies we've
No,
covered.
this is awesome. I really appreciate you sharing this. I mean, there's a couple of comments in here how cool this was. I know, like from Kendra, there's others. I'm getting messages privately too. And what's neat is this is a subject we haven't really tapped into yet. I mean, we've been using AI for a number of things, but when it comes to automating social media and posting, that's a huge benefit because a lot of us, the ones who are doing it and doing well, we're probably really not doing all that well, quite frankly, because everything I've done so far where I've used AI to help me get to, create content, create videos, whatever it is we're doing. It always beats what I can do personally. I mean, just an example, Kyle. We started using HeyGen for videos several months ago. And at first it was just simple things, very rudimentary, basic stuff, blogs, videos, things like that. Um, the the avatars are getting better. I'm getting better at giving it information on me to create the avatars. I'm doing more videos. I'm getting better at doing the videos that they use as samples. But in any case, long story short is this. When we figured that out on Instagram, our average views per video went from like 30 to 40 over 800. And then it settled back down around close, between 2 and 300, closer to 300. So we really effectively on a long-term basis increased our viewership by a factor of 10 just by using AI to help us do what we're already doing.
100%.
Yeah,
It's a force multiplier, I like to say,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, this calendar right here, and we'll end this session here shortly because I know we're getting to the top of the hour. But in case I didn't say it before, when I have all of these posts in a calendar like this calendar is connected directly to my social media account. So this is another thing that ChatGPT and Grok and Gemini really struggle with. Here, this calendar can post directly to your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and TikTok so that I don't have to take what I built on AI and then manually post it. I have everything in my calendar. It's scheduled. It's ready to go. I can review it if I want to. By the way, I can even edit this. If I click edit, I can go in here. I can change and move things around just like I was doing on Canva, right? This is built to be exactly the same as Canva. So if you know how to use Canva, you'll be able to use this, and it's all built in. You do not have to have a Canva subscription. So a lot of cool stuff that you guys can do with this. Lisa, I'm going to pick on you because you're my buddy. So Lisa, is there anything in here? I know you've been using realestatecontent.ai for a while now that everybody needs to know. Any tricks that you've been using that you think everybody would like to hear about?
Hmm. I did the last 2 advanced classes, and then I went back to the foundation class, and I really restructured everything so that it's just so simple. The first thing that I realized was that within 20 minutes I was using it, and it wasn't taking up my whole day to try to figure out another program. And it creates this beautiful stuff, and any little thing that I need to change, I change. Or what I've been doing is I've been grabbing photos off the internet and putting them in, so now I can create carousels of my own photos, so my own area with all of the fall colors and all of the things. So it's so customizable, and yet it's so simple to use that I appreciate it, because I'm constantly having to learn a new program, and I find that to be time consuming. This is not.
Good. That's my golden rule, right? Just because something saves you time, which it should save you time first and foremost, does not mean it should sacrifice quality. I hope you didn't feel like there was any quality concerns.
You keep doing more and more updates, and it keeps getting better and
yeah.
better. I really appreciate that too.
Oh yeah, you should see what we've
It's
got
fun.
coming out this month. I can't talk about it, but cool stuff coming this month. By the way, all the updates that we do are free, and it'll always be that way. So we're very excited for all the cool stuff that we're building. And Gary, I'm sure next year or maybe later this year, I'll be able to come on and show you guys some other cool stuff. I'm always staying on top of what's working, what's not working, things that are changing in social media so that you guys don't have to be the expert. That's why Gary brings me on to make sure that, you guys get to focus on what you are the expert in, and doing this whole social media thing, I can help you out with that. So if there's anything new that comes up, especially if you're a realestatecontent.ai subscriber, we try to make sure that you guys, that all gets updated so you don't have to worry about it. And then always, if you're trying to do this on your own, I try to come in here and bust any social media myths or tell you what's working and what's not working. If you guys want to join realestatecontent.ai, we'll give you discount code that me and Gary are able to bring you. So we did give you guys a $200 off discount code today, which is going to be good for $200 off of the annual subscription. So realestatecontent.ai retails for $8.99 a year. You guys will get it for $6.99 a year. Okay, so it's going to take $200 off. It makes it about $58 a month. Cheaper than hiring somebody, not so expensive that doesn't make sense to do it yourself. This is a lifetime discount. So if you guys want to renew next year, it'll still be $6.99. It'll never go up on you. No contract and a money back guarantee. So you guys come on here, join some of those classes like the ones that Lisa was talking about, where you guys are getting the training. All of those classes are free. Lisa's already said to join multiple of them. We'll set everything up for you. And if you don't like it, or if you're not using it, we'll give you 100% of your money back. So you guys have the ability to try this. Come on here next time we're on. Tell us stuff that you're doing. Maybe I can help you out with a couple of things, but it's a really good price. We'll take care of you and we'll give you a money back guarantee.
And Kyle, that includes the content as well as the I guess the tech, like the how to utilize,
That's
okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
that's correct. It's a really good question. So every single thing that I showed you guys here today is
Mhm.
included. So pictures, the videos, the way that it recommends topics for me, the data that it can pull, the listings, everything that you saw me do is included. There is no tier, right? So there's not like you join for one price and then you pay more to get more. It's all included in one price. And when we build new things, it's added for free. So don't worry, you're not getting shorted there. And that includes web search. Yes, Kendra. Yes, so that will include web search.
Yeah. But guys, I just want to tell you, I know Kyle's well received, not just in our organization at EXP, but several different organizations and obviously outside of EXP. So we invited him back again, so that's kind of a big vote of confidence. In fact, let's do a hand raise here. Would you like to have Kyle back? It might be January, February, because we've got a pretty full slate. But if you'd like to have Kyle back, please give a thumbs up or a hand raise or just type it in the chat box. Um, yeah, yeah,
Thanks, y'all.
there you go. Yeah, I'll do two hands. So, okay,
Good stuff.
yeah. Well, listen,
Thank
guys,
you.
any final questions while we have Kyle on now live. This is not a bot. This is the real Kyle. So keep that in mind. You got some free time right now. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You have a
that's
question.
right.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm
And
glad. And in here, guys, whether it's on the chat or if you want to raise your hand, I'm here to help everybody. Looks like I'll be back in the future too, so I'll try to bring some new stuff for you guys. But yeah, that's why I join these calls. I'm here to be a resource. I'm here to be an expert. If you guys decide, that real estate content AI is for you, we do track this code, and we know that you're coming from Gary, and we know that Gary's friends with Lisa Sears, who's a very good friend of ours. So you guys do get a little bit of preferential treatment. So don't worry, you guys are going to be very well taken care of. You will also have a direct line to me. In fact, I will put my email address right in here in the chat, Kyle at realestatecontent.ai. If you want to ask any questions that maybe you didn't want to ask them on the webinar, but you'd rather ask me personally, you can just throw it in there. Rick has a question, and then PF does as well. What's up, man? Good to see you. So Rick asked, do you have a program for a brokerage? I do. The brokerage plan and dashboard includes some other things that I didn't get to show you today. I won't have time to, but Rick and anybody else interested in a brokerage or team plan, can you email me at that email and just make the subject line brokerage discount, and I will give you all the information for that. But what's up, TF? Tell me what you got.
Yes. So I saw that you were several times before. You have reset the entire calendar. Does the content that one create remain in the library or something like that for historical purposes or reuse or whatever? Will you recommend reusing stuff also?
It's a good idea. So let me show you here what you can do. So I have seen this use case before. What I used to say is, hey, you don't want to repost content. You don't want to post something you've already posted before. Now that holds true, but I have seen certain one-off circumstances where like maybe you've built something that you would want to reuse again. So I can go back into my previous months right here. There's my November, here's my October, and I can access any of the content that I've built in those months, and I can then repost it hit duplicate right here and bring it into the current month. So yes, it will hold all of the content that you've posted previously. So if you want to go back and reuse it, you totally can. Good question.
Excellent.
I have a question, Kyle.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm really impressed with the system.
Okay.
So I have two different real estate accounts. Actually, I have one, but I'm gonna start another one because I just started a niche in probate. So would I be able to differentiate between the different type of content and those accounts? Or how would I do that?
Could you say that again? Do you need to double check the
So
content?
I have a Instagram account for my for my real estate business, but I also just started a new niche and I wanted to create an Instagram account for that because it's all probate, right?
Okay.
And so I wanted to know with this program, would I be able to differentiate between the two different types of content I could create and post those to both of my Instagrams?
It's a really good question, and it's probably a question that other people have in here. So I want to be very clear when I answer this. So the answer is half yes, half no.
Okay.
So I'll start with the bad news first. So each realestatecontent.ai account will only connect to one set of social medias. So one Facebook, one Instagram, one LinkedIn, X, and TikTok. The reason for that is we already kind of talked about the team and brokerage plan. If one account could connect to infinitely many social media accounts, we wouldn't be able to have a team and brokerage plan because people would just buy one account and do that. So that's why we have to limit it. However, there are some ways around this so that you do not have to pay for two accounts. So here's what I would do. Underneath your persona and brand, and we do teach this, and Lisa, let me know, are they covering this on the setup call or are they covering this on the advanced call, the different personas?
That's a good question. I know that you build out your default on the first one, but I think they may go over the other on the advanced. I can't remember because I've been on 3 in the last week I was working on an issue, and I'm going to tell everybody, if you ever have an issue, go back to the basic, because what I found was I didn't do something right in the very beginning, which was making something else not work. I didn't do my colors right. And so when I went back and I did them in the beginning of the setup class as a brand new person, I figured out what I did wrong and it fixed everything on the other side. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
So Kendra, in your situation, so right here, you'll see up at the top, it says personas. So you always start out with a default persona, and you'll see this persona right here is me as a real estate agent focusing on first-time home buyers, upsizers, downsizers, and investors. You can create as many of these personas as you want with one account. You don't have to pay extra. So what I would do is, you see here, I have another persona for my commercial stuff. So, and this has completely different answers. Okay. So I would have a persona for probate on top of your regular one. And then when you go create content for your probate niche, make sure when you hit generate right here, you can flip it to use your probate persona right here.
Got it.
And then it will load into your calendar. Now, one thing, this is the kind of long way you have to take to make sure that you're not accidentally posting the probate stuff on your non-probate account, is what I would do. Take all the probate stuff you make sure, just kind of maybe put them on different days, like put them on your Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then instead of scheduling them, just hit this button right here and download it, and it will download everything. And then you can just throw it on your other account manually. So it's one extra step. It won't auto post, but you'll still be able to get all of your social media posts done for you, and it'll save you the money so you don't have to buy two accounts.
Okay.
There you go. Good stuff. I'm all about saving money here, even though I own the company. Like,
I appreciate it. I am too.
don't pay the extra money if you only have one more account. So take that way, do it. I encourage a lot of people to do that. So I think that'll help you out.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. Good question. Good stuff, y'all. Well, hey, I'm always grateful to be on here. And Gary, if everybody wants to have me back, maybe we'll do something early next year, maybe whenever you guys want to do it. Especially if something comes up in social media between now and the end of the year, I'll make sure I email you so you know. And if it's an update that you guys need to know about, I'll try to weasel my way in here to make sure that you guys are on top of it.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, Kyle, I really appreciate you doing this again. I know it's, just past dinner time, and I appreciate you making time for us. And we'll have you back again. We've got at the end of the year in December, we do an entire, we call it VGAP, VGAP, Vision, Goals, Action Plans. It's one per week so that when we kick off the new year, we hit the ground running. And we're going to be using AI this year for the first time. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see the clarity I think that people will get, not to mention the detailed specific plans. I mean, guys, I'm using AI now. I haven't even shown everybody everything I'm doing. I've got detailed, rich plans that are down to the 15-minute intervals that I'm now using. How many of you have noticed a difference just in the last few weeks and my behavior and the things that I'm talking about implementing? And yeah, so this is just the beginning, guys, and you're going to be doing the same thing, and it's so much easier. Yeah, honestly, it's like a car that you've had for 25 years that needs an overhaul. You give it an overhaul and it runs like it's new again. That's what this is like. It's that much more important. Okay. So I got to be careful with my analogies. Some people might out there say, "What are you saying? I'm an old car?" No, it's not what I'm saying. It's an analogy. But in any case, remember the video of the eagle. Who remembers the video of the eagle? What does the eagle do at about 40 years old? Let's do a quick little test here. What does the eagle go through at about 40 years old? Does anybody remember this?
It breaks off his beaks.
Yep. First he plucks out his feathers,
right?
he or she, with their talons, right? And then basically, I think chews the talons off too. It busts the beak off on rocks, and it's painful, but it grows back a new beak, new talons, new feathers that are not weighing it down from years of oil and water and stuff like that. And it goes another 30 years. So think of AI as our version of what that eagle can do when it puts its heart and mind to it. So any case, I'm excited about this stuff, guys. So Kyle, what I'm thinking is I know we're already scheduling classes for January, but we can check with Sugar and see, and we get you in probably. We're trying to keep the 2 guests per month because I'm going to be teaching the 2 other times per month. It's another thing. I haven't done that for a while, and I enjoyed it. Just haven't been able to do it for a couple of years, and now I've got my time back. So yeah. So,
Good stuff.
thanks again, Kyle. If everybody could give Kyle a big pat on the back, a hand raise or a clap, or some in the chat box. And then for all the guests
Thank
today,
you.
guys, we had a lot of guests on, and I really appreciate you participating and joining us. This class is always like this. We teach, it's all academic. We have guest teachers like Kyle, and we honor them because they do have something to sell. That's why they're here. It's valuable enough that you guys should be here, and some of you participate. So I highly recommend it. It'll definitely change your business and it'll change your life. So okay, I will see you next Monday. I'll be teaching myself. It's going to be a working session. You're going to implement what we're teaching while I'm actually teaching it. If you haven't set up a one-on-one, guys, remember I added more time every day for you to set up one-on-ones, including Fridays. I doubled up extra time on Fridays even. And I'm looking at the schedule. There's a lot of time that wasn't grabbed. I know it's different because it was new this week, but grab the time slots. Let's keep the momentum going. Okay, this is the time to sharpen the blade, change the oil, get the machine running completely. Because I'm telling you, you do not want to be in catch-up mode when the market turns. It doesn't tell you when it's going to happen. Remember, it just happens, and then you recognize it. If you got your machine up and running and ready to go, you're going to make all the money. Right? Don't be the other people trying to play catch up and pulling their hair out and stressing out and not sleeping. Be in front of the curve. So okay, I will see you guys tomorrow on tomorrow the production huddle. Wednesday's another AA huddle, agent attraction. Thursday's the second production huddle. And then Friday, I meet with the operations people, and you have Friday's no huddle. So sound good?
Good stuff.
Okay. Good night, everybody. God bless you and all your loved ones. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Monday Night Live. Consider subscribing. Agents, want to learn more? Schedule a call with Gary using the link in the description.